Welcome back, YouTube, to another discussion video. This is a series where I go through the champion concept Reddit, and we talk about some champion concepts that are on here, giving our opinion, kind of just showing them off and showcasing some cool ideas made by some of the Reddit users. As you guys know that I make champions as well. So with this series, I always will do 2 champions, and I will post their link down for these in the description below. That way you guys can check them out, and they also get the credit for their champion designs. Now, the 2 champions that I want to do, actually, before I get into that, if you guys want your champion concept reviewed on here, please just send me an email or a comment on the video below. Give me some ideas. Maybe I'll check it out and put you guys in the next video. So with this, let's see which 2 we're going to do here. Let's check there. There's my last design. If you guys haven't checked out Halen, I posted him on here last week. Let's do Mira, the Master of Mirrors. Lots of M's. Made by this kid 713. So the passive, upon being damaged by an enemy champion, Mira gains one of the following bonuses. Less than 400 units away, gains 100% bonus movement speed for 1 second. Greater than 400 units away, plus 50% tenacity for 1 second. Upon being damaged by an enemy. Okay. It's weird. Q, Mira throws a beam of light, dealing less damage the further it travels, and rebounding if it hits any mirrors. Okay. So he has a damaging ability that the farther it travels does less damage, so you want to be right next to them. Correct? Okay. W, places a mirror, can soar up to 2 charges. If a Q hits a mirror, it is redirected in the direction the mirror is facing, and its damage fall off is reset, and base damage is multiplied by a small amount based on level. Additionally, every 3rd mirror is a magnifier, further increasing damage instead of redirecting. Magnifiers can be placed directly on a mirror. Mirrors can directly face each other, however, cannot directly face each other. However, it is impossible to line up 2 mirrors, and Q will bounce off both mirrors. Mirrors last 5 to 10 seconds based on level. Okay. E, tap to rotate a mirror, hold to destroy one, dealing damage in the area around it. Okay, so cool AoE effect. R, Radiant Finish, point and click heavy damage spell, can only select mirrors and amplifiers, will instantly shatter any mirrors it contacts, dealing the damage of E's mirror shatter damage. Cool. The more mirrors bounced off, the more damage. It can be affected by magnifiers. Damage is dealt as many smaller procs rather than one large burst. It gave passive to give her peel. Okay. Okay, so the base idea for this, yeah, so passive is definitely a little out of place. Doesn't really seem like it goes with the kit. Yeah, I would say, so I would have to think about this for a larger period of time, but the idea of having the mirrors is really cool. You need to add a different passive, though. I'm trying to think of a passive like on the top of my head, and I can't think of something, so I apologize. But definitely needing to make a new passive. The Q seems really, really cool. Works really well with the W and the E. So the whole point is you want to throw these mirrors out, and you're basically turning yourself into Vel'Koz or Zoe. I think Zoe or Vel'Koz probably came up with a similar idea for this when they made those 2 champions. The problem is that you have to place the mirrors, and then you have to hope RNG is on your side when throwing these abilities in, geometry. A lot of people didn't pass math, so that's not something that they're going to be able to do very well. So it just doesn't work in League. I think no one's found a way to make mirrors work. I even tried to create a mirror champion myself, and I got tongue-tied for months trying to come up with a concept that would work, and it's very, very difficult. But I like the idea of what you've done. The R is really cool, but it just seems like you're so focused on just using one. You basically have one ability, is the Q. Everything else is an amplifier. Your R, does point and click. So when you're point and clicking, are you pointing and clicking on enemy champion? Well, no, it says you can only collect mirrors. So whenever you do that, does it just, you click a mirror and then that ability starts to bounce off that mirror, or does it just make them all explode like you have written down here? So you see kind of how it's got some, it's not coordinated correctly. So I would say go back, revisit this, try to come up with some interesting things. I think one thing you could do is the new champion Yumi that just came out has that attach effect where you actually can use the mouse to, move the objects. Maybe doing something with that, taking that idea and pushing it into this champion concept somehow. So I would give this scale 1 to 5. I give it a 2. The idea is there. There's no lore or anything else like that. The idea for the kits there, I just think you need a lot of. I think for one, just getting rid of the passive, making something else, and then coming up with some different ideas for these to maybe rework these a little bit would make it a lot better. I'm not gonna downvote it though because I think it does have potential. Now, let's see. Let's go. Let's do this one. Kor'Ein, the Corrupted Tide. I set out to create an amphibious voidborn in nature and ability. While I believe I've properly succeeded to some degree, I do think it could be done better. Don't know. So first thing, Nito. That is your name, I believe, Nito. Don't ever say this. I do think it could be done better. Like, have some confidence in your idea, man. If no one else is gonna have confidence in it, you gotta have confidence in it. So from another content creator to another, just make sure that you're being just have confidence in your idea. The idea was for Kor'Ein to be taken as a large late-game threat with a focus on jungling and roaming between lanes. Her abilities all mix into a degree and include a poison-like effect. Okay. Alright, so we have stats here. Cool. Alright, so we'll go through the lore first. Kor'Ein, a voidborn of unknowable magnitude, bound beneath the rotten waves of Bilgewater, a beast far and wide beyond the creatures of this common world, consuming the depths of dark waters below, taking in sailors and beasts that dared venture. Oh, it sounds like she's like Alawi's pet or something. Inky black beast, once a whole creature, now lives to consume those who enter its lair. Okay, cool. Interesting. So, passive, Corrupted Waters. Kor'Ein passively corrupts beings around her. What's an enemy? Enemy minion, monster, or champion is within 400 units of Kor'Ein. They will gain stacks of corruption at a rate of 1 stack per 30 seconds, as well as Kor'Ein herself. At 1 to 10 stacks of Kor'Ein will gain 20 to 130% bonus, passive bonus to all damage dealt from her basic abilities. At 1 to 10 stacks, Kor'Ein's enemies will gain a passive debuff, 2 to 10% vulnerability to all of her attacks. So basically just shreds from being around her, okay? All stacks past 10 will grant a 10 damage bonus or a 1% vulnerability, respectively. Okay, so basically standing next to her, you're just going to get dealt more damage. You have the ability to be dealt more damage. Okay. So it's like a weird version of Wukong's passive, but stacks over time, not with. Okay, that's cool. Okay, I'm rolling. Q is toxic feedback. Kor'Ein spits a glob of toxic mucus and spit in an arc, going 400 units at most, creating a small area of effect damage around its landing point. All enemies hit by the AoE are slowed by up to 30%, taking 1 to 9 damage per second for 4 to 9 seconds. Wow, that's a really long AoE. Affecting all enemies hit with 1 corruption stack. Any enemy struck by the main projectile will instead be inflicted with 10 to 50% slow. Okay. So targets who walk inside the landing zone are dealt AoE damage, and have 1 stack applied. If you're hit with it before it spreads into an AoE, you're dealt slow more damage and you gain 2 stacks. Okay. The W is Corrupt Fissure. This has 30% mana for a cost, 10 for recast, 50 for grab dash. Okay. Kor'Ein slams the ground immediately in front of her in a chosen direction, creating a line of cracked earth that slows and damages enemies hit by it. Any enemy hit by the fissure will take 40 to 80 damage and will be slowed for 2 to 6 seconds. At the end of the fissure range, a small puddle of corruption will be created. This puddle will persist for 120 seconds or until stepped on by an enemy and used by Kor'Ein herself. Any enemies who step on and triggers the puddle will take 1 to 9 damage per second. Slowed, if Kor'Ein steps in the puddle, should be granted. Okay. So this does damage and then makes a puddle which will deal damage or heal her, as well as nearby allies. Okay, so this can affect. Okay. I don't know how to feel about this ability yet, but we'll finish it first. Void Dive. Kor'Ein readies for a moment before dashing a short distance in the chosen direction. She may dash twice in a short window before the ability goes on cooldown. On contact with an enemy, Kor'Ein will grab them, holding them still and dealing 50 to 90 damage. She will then gain the ability to dash to another chosen location within 900 units range. Moving there quickly, she and her target are unstoppable but can be healed, damaged, or killed. Any enemies dragged through Void Dive will then take per second. Okay. Alright. Kor'Ein, her ult's Corrupted Favor. She channels, rooting herself to the ground and roars to the heavens, creating a large purple wave of corrupted energy around her that radiates outwards. Any enemies, allies, monsters hit by this will be affected. All enemies with at least 1 corruption stack will take true damage per stack over 1 second. In times by how many stacks they have. All allies gain healed. She is healed. Alright. Okay. So quick thing, Nito. If you ever watched, so in my videos, I never put damage numbers. Unless I'm a game designer, which I am not, and most of us are not, putting numbers for, mana costs, how much damage is never a really good idea. Because they're going to be taken out of context, really. What I mean by that is, I can look at this and go, okay, so this has 25 mana. Does this go up once you start leveling it up, and how far does it go up? Because having an ability that does this, and having it only be 25 mana is very, 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 very low. Same thing like your ult costs 90 mana, so I would say just re-look at this and take some of the stuff off. Like all of these damage numbers. Like you have 3 abilities that deal AoE damage. And then she has an AoE damage that does true damage and heals herself and heals allies, and gives bonus movement speed. It's a lot. The idea is really cool. I think you went a little overboard with the AoE and the damage over time. Also, I don't know what she would be. Is she a jungler? I know you said in the lore that she focuses a lot on being the jungle and rotating the lanes, but she doesn't have any so her Void Dive would be considered her gap closer or her CC, right? So she needs to basically dash onto somebody to grab them to then be able to have any form of CC. So you're kind of looking at a worse version of the QW Rek'Sai ability where she knocks people up. I'm not rolling with that. I think the rest of the kit's really cool. I think numbers wise, we need to get rid of a lot of these numbers. Just give like an X amount. That way, a lot can be left up to the the brain. for us to just kind of think of, oh, well, this would be cool if it does this much damage kind of thing. But I would say get rid of a lot of this AoE. This passive's really weird. It's cool because it's like, hey, you don't want to stand next to her, but hey, how are we going to fight her if we can't stand next to her? So you're basically telling people that they should not stand next to her because they're just going to gain these passive stacks. So it's a little weird. But, I mean, it's not terrible. It's actually not that bad. It's just strange. It's interesting. I think for being an amphibian-like creature, you need to have some sort of passive ability with the river, or being able to expand the river into lanes, which should give you like bonus movement speed or something. Or she can dive under the water and be undetected, or just some other things that could potentially make her more of this corrupted tide amphibian-like concept. But that's just my idea of it. I at a 1 out of 5, I give it a 3.5 ish. It's pretty good. I will upvote this. I think this is a cool idea. I think we just need to revisit some of this stuff. And hey, if you want some personal ideas, hit me up on Twitter at KyleChris, YT. That way I would love to be able to talk to you about this kind of stuff, because I think you have a really cool concept. I think we just need some extra things going on in here. So that's the video, guys. Like always, please like and subscribe. And like I said before at the beginning, if you guys want your champion concepts reviewed on here, or if you want me to review a certain champion concept, let me know. I will do my best and see what I can do. But I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.